anything other than asking you to hold for one moment while I get the screen pulled up that I need to talk to you.
Okay, sure.
I'm calling
Go ahead.
to, one second. Can you tell me what you do for Chase while I'm doing this?
Sure. I'm sorry. Let me pull up your profile. Do you mind helping me with your address, please?
Ma'am, I'm asking you what department that you're in. Are you refusing to answer my question?
Oh, this is regular customer service,
And what do you do in regular
telephone banking.
customer service? What do you
We're working on checking, savings, general inquiry.
you're doing what now?
We are working on checking savings account, general questions or general inquiry.
So you just answer general inquiries and questions on checking and savings accounts that are operated by Chase.
Yes, and we also do online banking.
So you can help with online banking communications with the website, with the app and the website.
Yes,
All right. What was your name again?
my name is Justine.
Justine.
Correct.
All right. How long have you been in banking, Justine?
Almost 4 years now.
Did you hear about the Wells Fargo fraud where employees inside Wells Fargo's bank were knowingly opening fraudulent accounts? Did you hear about that?
That's quite alarming, but no, I haven't heard that news at
Yeah,
all.
yeah. About 49 attorney generals sued Wells Fargo in 2017 because they said employees had gotten
Mm-hmm.
caught creating fraudulent accounts at Wells Fargo Bank. I've called to report that happening in your executive office. That your executive office opened and transmitted a fraudulent transaction knowingly on the 2nd from the United States Department of Treasury.
Thank you. Let me check here.
Thank you for calling Chase. My name is William. May I have your name?
Zori Rush.
Thank you. And I do need to inform the call is being monitored or recorded. Can I have the account number you're calling for or debit card number?
You need to explain the procedure that you're now using. I was just speaking to someone.
I apologize. I didn't understand what you said.
You need to explain the procedure that you're now using because I was just on the phone talking to someone else.
Explain the procedure that I'm using. You lost me on that, sir.
Well, I don't know how. I mean, you came on the phone asking me for
Can I
information.
have the account number that you're calling for or your debit card number? I wasn't a part of the
May
previous
I speak to
conversation. I
your
don't know
may I speak
what
to
the
your
deal behind
manager?
this.
May I speak to your manager?
Not without giving me your account information. Our managers are for our customers, and I don't know who I'm speaking to.
Well, I'm a customer and my name is Zori Rush and I'm not giving any personal information to you until I speak to a manager about your conduct.
Well, then you won't get a supervisor. You can always go
All
into
right.
your local branch when they're available.
All right. I could just keep calling the phone number and recording you live on
And
YouTube.
that sounds like a plan.
That's what I'm doing. I'm going to get you fired for this call. I'm recording you live on YouTube. You want to tell us your name?
Thank you for choosing Chase.
I bet you don't. Hang up the phone now.
No, sir.
Oh no, sir. You can tell the world what your name is while you're talking on behalf of Chase,
I gave you
or
my name, sir.
or you can hang up the phone so I can call another Chase employee to inform them of the crime you are now engaged in.
Can you hear me, Mr. Fresh? I mean, Mr. Fresh.
Again, I'm going to inform Chase of the crime you just committed just as much as I informed the world.
This call will be monitored and recorded.
Your voice may be used for verification. Welcome to Chase. Para español, oprima el asterisco. Please enter your debit card, account number, or user ID, followed by the pound key. To report your debit card lost, stolen, or damaged, please enter your debit card PIN, the same PIN you used at the ATM. Thank you. To access the main menu at any time, press the star key. Your checking account ending in 1064. Main menu for recent transactions or to search for a transaction. Due to the recent federal holiday, deposits made over the holiday period can be delayed by 1 business day. To help our specialist better assist you, after the tone, please speak your first and last name, followed by your mailing address.
Zori Rush, 6912 Mount Vernon Road, Euport, Mississippi 39744.
Welcome to Chase. You're speaking to Rahul. May I please get your full name?
My name is Zori Rush.
Hi there. How may I help you?
I am calling. What was your name again?
You're speaking to Rahul. Rahul.
All right. How long have you been with Chase?
I've been with Chase for a year now.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Wells Fargo fraud scandal where employees in Wells Fargo were accused of creating fraudulent accounts in customers' names?
Well, this is the first time I've heard about this.
All right. Well, I'm calling to report that crime occurring with Chase JP Morgan Chase executive offices.
That is concerning.
Doesn't really seem like it because right now, because the crime involves my personal property and is a threat to my personal safety, my phone call is recording live on YouTube to protect my personal safety and my property that's in the possession of Chase because Chase is refusing to do it and allowing its employee in the executive office to cause me financial injuries. Right now, I'm actually moving my money from Chase so that part of whatever procedure that we're going to use to resolve the issue of the employee making a fraudulent transaction in my name from the Department of Treasury on the 1st. I'm going to close my account because I told Chase that there was an employee that was about to do that, and they did it. So how do I file that? How do we do that? What do we do to get that started?
I do apologize for the inconvenience. So are you saying that there is a Chase employee
There's a Chase
who's
employee in the
doing
executive offices named Carol who allowed a fraudulent transaction from the Department of Treasury into my personal banking account without a fraud alert to me, just either on the 2nd or the 1st from the Department of Treasury.
okay, that's money coming into your account?
It was not money I authorized coming into my account. I've informed Chase earlier this year any funds coming from the Department of Treasury that did not address an underpayment owed to me from the United States would be fraud. And the person at executive offices allowed that transaction to go through, and I have not received a notification yet that says that either that transaction was attempted or that a fraud alert was added to my account to show that an employee transmitted those funds into my account. I should have been notified and given the option to refuse the funds, but I wasn't because of your Chase employee.
Let me see where does this needs to go, okay? I'll just
All
locate
right,
that.
well,
My
I'll tell you this much. Wells Fargo said this was the first time it's ever happened to me, but right now this would be a pattern inside the United States if we find out that J.P. Morgan Chase just did the same thing. But yo, go ahead, find out. I'm sure it's gonna take some time to figure this out. Somebody's in your company just committed a crime using federal property.
just hold the line. If that's the case, they need to be handled with the, with the appropriate action. Just hold the line. Okay, I'll get back to you
Absolutely,
shortly.
absolutely. It's my property. I'm not going anywhere until we figure it out. You need to speak up.
Is it better now?
It is.
All right. Allow me one moment. I'm connecting you to my line supervisor, okay? They want to have a word with you.
They want to have a word with me. I bet.
Thank you for calling, please. This is Paula. I'm here to proceed, and you can have first and last name.
My name's Zori Rush. Can you hold for me 1 second?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Oh, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, my name is Zori Rush. Can you hold for me 1 second?
Oh, yes, sir. I believe I said go ahead.
Oh, okay. What was your name again?
You're speaking with Paula.
Ola?
Yes.
Oh, that's fascinating. There's a nurse or a social worker in a hospital in Atlanta named Ola who completely destroyed my medical records and prevented me from seeing a doctor to date.
Don't worry, sir. I will not cause you harm to your account, Mr. Roy. May I know how can I assist you?
So the gentleman explained to you the issue I'm having.
Let me take a look if there's a note that was left in your account, Mr. Roy. Stay on the
I
line,
do
sir.
apologize. I asked you a question and I did not hear an answer.
Oh, I'm not so sure why you were not hearing me, Mr. Rush. I can hear you clearly. And rest assured that I've been answering your questions efficiently when you ask. I immediately answer, sir. So I'm not so sure why you cannot
Are
hear
you
me.
unable to repeat the answer so that since are you aware that I didn't hear it?
Oh, I believe I told you that I will review the account so I can see if there is a note that was left by the previous representative. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, so stay on the line, okay? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, stay on the line.
Now, I didn't say this was murder. I didn't say this was murder. The law said it's murder. As a matter of fact, it's beyond murder because you can't be a government that supplies defense weapons and then de- deprive the entire nation that gave you the power to supply those defense weapons of the contractual agreement that provided the economic structure to create those weapons. You can't silence the First Amendment, in short, and then sell it as your own. That's not allowed. You can't say freedom of speech and we're going to fight around the world for it. But we're not going to let our citizens have
Thank
it.
you for
It's not
patiently
allowed.
waiting. Mr. Rush, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I have reviewed your account, and I can see there is a note here that you're calling about the Treasury deposit. Treasury Department deposit that doesn't belong to you. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I believe that is the $993 that's on pending on the account. Am I looking on the correct one?
You are.
Okay. Yeah, I'm so sorry. There is a deposit that doesn't belong to you. And may I know, is this the first time that this deposit hits the account, or it always goes to the account, sir?
That is not my issue. I have a written report of a crime committed by an employee named Carol in your executive offices that permitted that transaction to go through with JP Morgan Chase's authority. That's the issue. I can handle the Treasury Department sending the payment by myself. I don't need that assistance from you anymore. I need you to do something about the employee who is allowing it. Or well, not anymore. I'm even fixing that now. But I need to do something. Need your company to do something about the employee that allowed the transaction of 993 without sending me a fraud alert.
Okay, so there's an executive office employee that's allowing this transaction to go through to the account.
Yes, her
Is
name
the
is
name
Carol.
Carol, sir?
Her name is Carol. Yes.
Okay. I was just curious. May I know what happened? Why?
I don't know. She called and recorded a voicemail on my phone today that said JP Morgan Chase will no longer comment on the fraudulent transaction. And that was after the transaction had already occurred. She called and made that was recorded on my voicemail earlier today, and that's why I'm calling you today.
Okay. So what I can assist Mr. Rush is I'll be filing a complaint on your behalf regarding what happened on this deposit for us to make sure
Hold on, wait.
that it's
Before you do that, I need to know what my options are with Chase when I call to inform you that an employee intentionally allowed a transfer of a fraudulent transfer of federal government property into my checking account. What are the procedures that when one of your employees does that?
yes. For that, sir, we will be initiating an investigation, Mr. Rush. I'll file a complaint on your behalf. Anyway, I have here the name of that
I
resident.
ask you a question, ma'am. What is the procedure?
Oh, I'm giving you the procedure right now.
Oh,
I'm
so
not
you're
sure how
telling me
exactly
that
you're
all
going
you
to.
do is file a complaint and then the employee remains in place to cause the injury to other accounts like what happened with Wells Fargo?
Oh, I'm not so sure what happened with Wells Fargo,
Well,
sir.
they
I can
allowed
only assist.
someone at Wells Fargo allowed an employee to open fraudulent accounts. Some of them transferred funds, fraudulent transactions of government funds into those accounts. And then but Wells Fargo went on for 2 years denying that it happened until a court case came up and showed evidence that yes, for almost 5 years, an employee at Wells Fargo was knowingly allowing fraudulent transactions through their
Well,
bank.
sir.
So I'm
Well,
saying,
Mr.
what is
Rush.
the procedure your bank is going to use in this case? Since this is the same thing is happening at your bank, is that you have an employee who's committing the act right now. I don't want to wait 5 years for you to stop it. So what is the procedure after you file the complaint? How do I know
So
that
after
Chase
the
stopped it? Do I have
Yes,
to
sir, the
take you to
procedure
court and
after I
sue
filed the
you?
complaint, we don't have access to see that. It's
To
at our end, we can only file a complaint for this, Mr. Rush. If
okay,
you
so
want
I
what
need
I
to
can
speak to
assist
your
you, I'll get in
manager.
touch with our dispute department
I
so
need to
we can
speak
give
to your
you the proper
manager.
procedure how to dispute this.
I need to speak to your manager.
Okay, let me see if there's available manager who can speak with you.
All right. It's called an employee grievance procedure. All federal deposit agencies are required to have an employee grievance procedure. What you are witnessing is an employee receiving deposits from the Federal Reserve attempting to use an alternative procedure to find fraud in their company. Now, they'll look for fraud from somewhere else, but fraud inside their company, they're not even going to look for it. She's going to use this alternate procedure when she knows that an employee grievance procedure is required on this specific issue, not a dispute or transaction, an employee grievance procedure. And she's just going to act like she didn't hear me say Carol is the one that did it. No one did it but Carol. Carol and the executive office did it. So if you file a dispute transaction, you're not going to find Carol in the executive office. And she knows that, and she would not be offering me an alternative procedure to the employee grievance procedure if she was not working directly for Carol. She's not working for the customer who needs an employee grievance procedure. She's now working for Carol. Now, where have we seen this before? Check the Social Security Administration procedures for processing claims against fraudulent attorneys. They don't file reports with the Department of Treasury. They use an alternative procedure to send you through the appeals process so that the attorney never gets caught for the fraud. Do you think that has anything to do with abuse of a little statute in the Constitution that allows for a bar association to dictate how we have rules of procedures in our courts? Maybe that's had a little to do with it.
She's the available manager who will speak with you. If there's nothing else for me, thank for calling Chase. Stay safe. Yes, hi, good evening, Mr. Rush. My name is Novelle. I'm a senior account manager here at Chase. I hope you're doing well.
I'm not.
Hi.
I'm not. Your employee, for one. The way I caught the government or error and delay in satisfying an underpayment through the Social Security Administration is that an employee violated administrative procedures for filing an employee grievance against another employee and used alternative appeal procedures to try to get me to accept a fraudulent payment. And those fraudulent payments are now being transferred into your bank. Now, I reported that crime as occurring because an employee in your executive office's named Carol was made aware that the Department of Treasury, hello? You think JP Morgan Chase isn't powerful? Look at the dead phone. Now, we'll stay live here and see how long this happens. While we're live, let's watch the media try to get me to swallow amitriptyline black label pills. Oh, that's from the waterboarding. Now, please remember, my entertainment in the place where I live is a employee of the military who is profiting the most right now from a defense budget that sells uh, democracy or weapons around the world, but does not allow free speech in its country as guaranteed in its constitution to all its citizens. It's not allowed. It's not allowed. You will not find in any Social Security Administration proceeding where the Social Security Administration has acknowledged that the claimant said that the folder was fraud. There isn't a document that says that I said the whole folder is fraud. The entire folder. I even showed evidence that the entire folder is fraud. No employee at the Social Security Administration has written down the plain words that I said the entire folder is fraud. Now, there are two courts that said, well, he said it's all fraud. Two courts said that, but not the Social Security Administration.
You're watching ABC WTVA Tupelo, Columbus.
But right now, the phone is not obstructed by someone named J.C. Smith down at the sheriff's department who's evading a deprivation of civil liabilities claim for coming to lock me up when I start typing things that prove that someone's holding me hostage and waterboarding me while idiots are surrounding me. Idiots that wouldn't know waterboarding if they got paid to do it. But let's see what the media, the American media's got to say. Last I heard, they don't want these facts being told.
You glean from getting a master's and working towards a doctorate in criminology, that can be helpful. But I will say this, when you are the suspect of a very complicated, very serious crime, now you are the focus